And we're live. Hey guys, welcome back to Whiskey Charlie, the War Game Chat, our monthly show on YouTube. I'm your host, Mo from Mo's Game Table, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, everybody's favorite Gimp with the Limp, the Gimpy Gamer, Nate Rogers. How's it going, Nate?
It's another glorious day.
And the Wargaming Wizard from Oz, Kev Sharp from the Big Board. How's it going, Kev?
Wonderful. Great to be here.
And we are joined by two very, very special guests today. We have Uwe Valentin from Sound of Drums, who is going to be heading up this auction that we're going to be doing today, and the man of the hour, Mark Ruggiero. Here, well, welcome to the show, guys. Really happy to have you aboard.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Mo, for having me here. Thanks for the invitation.
Well, thanks for your generosity in offering this really special, one-of-a-kind game. I mean, this is it's a fantastic game to begin with, but then you added in a really super-duper awesome special edition, and you're offering it up yourself here for Mark Ruggiero and his family. I think that's just an amazing bit of generosity from you. It really speaks volumes to your character, your company, your game, and to the community, the brotherhood we have here in Wargamers.
Yeah, that is very kind of you to say, Mo. But this is really the least thing that I could do. I'm really so thankful to Mark Ruggiero, because he was so supportive in the very first beginning of this project, and without him, I would not have continued. And so I owe him a lot, and I think this is really the least thing that I could do. And when we were in contact and thinking about what can we do, I had the idea to create a really unique copy, a collection of components that are really, some of them only exist one copy worldwide. And this was a little gesture from myself to give back what Mark, our brother, is giving to the community for many years, and especially at that time when I started the project. I want to give back something. So that's a really small effort compared to what he was giving to the community.
Well, I want to just say, me and my wife, very humbled, very appreciative, Uwe, and it was my pleasure. I'm glad that you moved forward, and I think you got some great stuff coming. But I'll house, thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
brother. Yeah.
And it's the start of a great series. You know, you're going to have what, 7? Oop, I think we lost Kev. I think he hit the wrong button. We probably hit I don't need to do that. And then he'll be back in here in a second, I'm sure. But and here he is. Don't hit the X.
Welcome back.
Wrong button. There you go.
Oopsie.
I just wanted to be down on I wanted to be down on the bottom left-hand side anyway.
That's what it is.
It's my happy place.
If we get a couple more people, we can have the center square, and you could be Paul in.
Exactly. We do the Brady Brunch.
Yeah. But I mean, this is first of 7 games that you have planned for this series, and I think that is really ambitious, and it's fantastic that already the success with the first game is a good indicator of the longevity of the series itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really very happy with the feedback. The feedback as far as components are concerned is overwhelming. So this is one part. Now, Kev already knows that we needed to work on the rules. We have now a living rule version 1.3 out, and shortly there will be a version 1.4. Because we want to set the rules in a way that we can have them with each game in the series. And because I have a lot of feedback, gamers ask, can you do that battle? Can you do this battle? Can you do that? And so there's so many interesting battles in that era. I think that with that great start that we have and with the great feedback that we have, we will, let's say, I hope, do more than 7 volumes. So we know for sure what we do. We will for sure do next Bartenberg 1813, a battle that has never been treated anywhere, and the well-known Battle of Quatre Bras. And so this will be a double feature, 2 games in 1 box for the same price, same quality of components. And I'm really very, very happy about the feedback and the very good start of that. And as you know, we are a young company. I'm not new to game publishing, but I'm relatively new with Sound of Drums that we started 2 years ago, roughly. And to come back to my friend Mark Ruggiero, I did this History of the Ancient Thieves thing, a kind of a hybrid strategy game, civ building game. And then Mark and we have been in touch for a couple of months. We were trading games and exchanging ideas and such. And one day I was asking him, Mark, I have here something, I have an idea, but I have no idea, I have no feeling for it, if this could be interesting, if this could work. And I sent him rule manuals with some basic ideas. And, I was not 100% sure if I'm able to design a war game with the ideas I had and with the ambition to combine traditional hex and counter wargame aspects with some fresh ideas and some new approaches. I sent this to him and he was so positive, and he said, hey brother, go on, keep on, do it. And it was really in the beginning a couple of ideas and rules, and I kept him in the loop regularly, and he was always so positive, and he was really encouraging me, and I'm so thankful for that. And there's a reason why this series is dedicated to Marco Ruggiero. And you know it. You read it at the end of the rules manual. Yeah.
Well, that just
Yeah, I
shows you
think,
how important it is to give
one
that
of the-
positive feedback like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, so I kind of, but you can kind of blame me if there's issues, because some of the feedback I gave Uwe is like, oh, I think this would work, or this wouldn't work, or I try to give him like some perspective too, like I like to say I didn't edit or anything like that. It was just like Uwe says, it was a constant exchange of, hey, Mark, read these rules, and what do you think? And, so you can blame me if there's any issues.
We will.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
So I'm just catching up here on the some of the comments people have made, and the whole thing that we're going to be doing here today, just so people are understanding what's going on, we're going to be discussing the game here, obviously, but also at the same time we're going to be doing a live auction. And what is going to happen here is you can bid in the chat by just posting what it is you want to bid on the game. We already have an opening bid, which we're going to start things off with, because someone had messaged me that could not attend and wanted to, but said, hey, I want to make sure that I get in a bid because I want to help out here. So we do have a current high bid, and the bidding starts, Jeff Newell, $300. So that is the opening bid.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
So that's what we're going to be starting with, and then you can bid, and we're not going to have any unless Uwe or Mark or anybody has any, indication as to what they want to have as far as increments. I would say as long as you're incrementing up reasonably. I mean, I don't want to see, hey, I'm going to outbid them $300 in 1 cent. Let's be real.
Well, should we talk a little bit about what's in the
the
box and the contents that make this unique and that might be exciting, and
yes, that's what
maybe
we're
put a bid in, which would be terrifying.
Yeah, that's where. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do here. I'm trying to pull this up, and this is a very, very special edition here. Let me mess with this. Here we go. Okay, so we've got this here is everything you're going to get. Actually, I'll let Uwe explain it so that way he can give it a better description than me.
Okay, so what we collected is we will have the base limited collector's edition, which will be available on the market, or for those who already backed this version, this will be the game in the wooden box, together with a mounted map board, together with the cotton bags and the customized dice. So this is the base of this item. But what we add to this item is we had a couple of prints of maps, and I think we will have all in all 3 different map versions in this item. One thing is that we will have another mounted map board, which does not have the setup indications, which has the same paper quality, the same graphic style and everything, but it's a one-time item only. And then we will have two other map sets. And as you can see here on the picture, the board, the frame of the map is in red. The final version will have a blue frame and not a red frame. So our graphic artist, he was experimenting a little bit. And then when we did some test prints on high quality paper, on really good paper, we decided to change from red to blue to have it more in this winter stylish thing of the era. And this map only exists one time, and then we will have another set of maps also with the red frame, and again with no setup instructions on the map, so you will miss these. And we will put another set of these wonderful counters into this set, so you will have a second set of these counters. There are all in all 1,400 counters, 10 sheets. And I think that Kev also mentioned the special, or let's say high quality of our counters. We asked our printer to print on the one hand our counters on whiteboard and not on gray board. And whiteboard allows you a couple of different things. On the one hand, the print on whiteboard is a little bit more clear. It's a little bit more sharp. The colors are a little bit different. But the important thing printing on whiteboard is that you can pre-cut the counters in a way that you have a 360-degree pre-cutting, which allows us to punch out the counters, and we will have 0 nips or almost 0 nips. And we have pre-rounded corners. So I'm very proud about these counters, and I'm very grateful that our printer worked really hard on these counters to find these solutions. And we will put a second set of these counters into this item. Then there will be a second set of customized dice. And then we will have one additional game box, which will have a gloss print or glossy print. I don't know how you state it, glossy print, gloss print. The final version of the game, the final products will have a semi-gloss print. And when we started the project and when we had pre-production copies or samples, the first samples were glossy. So there exist only 3 boxes worldwide with glossy print, and we will add one of these 3 boxes with this special item. And to round up everything, we will give 10 Sound of Drums counter trays to this item. Normally you only have 2 counter trays, but we give in 10 of these counter trays. We have these counter trays customized with our logo, and there will be 10 of them in this special item.
Amazing. We will
have the situation map, the huge situation map, 80 centimeters by 60 centimeters. And if the winner of the auction allows, I would like to sign the copy on the back of the wooden box. But this I want to see and want to talk about with the one who is winning the auction, if he allows me to sign that box, and to mention again that this is a unique item worldwide. Sorry, Kev, I interrupted you.
Oh, no, I interrupted you. I was just going to ask if you would tell the folks that may not know a little bit about the box and its construction, the wooden box, because it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's also something, when we started the project, before I was working in the Eurogame publishing business, and there quality is key, and when you are working in the Eurogame board game business, you have to pay a lot of attention to every detail. And I do not want to blame my colleagues in the business. I think there are a lot of companies that do a tremendous job. There's a lot of activity right now, and we are living in a golden age of wargame. I think the market has never been that active. So kudos to all of my colleagues out there. But what we wanted to try is, we are a new company and we needed to try to be special, to have unique selling points. So you will not find any item in our product that we did not pay a lot of attention to as far as details are concerned. And speaking of the wooden box, we had some samples from different companies, and we were not happy, not at all. And finally, I found a small manufacturing company in the Thüringen forest in Eastern Germany. These wooden boxes, they are handmade, they are handcrafted. Of course, not everything in the process is handmade, but to put the box together is really handcraft. They can do only around 100 boxes of this type per week. So of this box, there will only exist 150 copies. And for example, the thing to close the box, they really do it manually with small nails, and every single box is taken care of by a very good quality control. So the boxes are already in stock, because some people ask, when finally do you ship and when do you fulfill? It's supposed to fulfill end of March. But the boxes we have in stock for a couple of weeks now, and they really have an amazing quality. And I'm also very happy with that item with these wooden boxes.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah, and because for those folks that joined later, I asked Mark, who received a wooden box of History of the Ancient Seas of the limited edition of History of the Ancient Seas, if he already opened his game, his reward, because these boxes, they smell like wood. It's really a big pleasure. And I have one of these boxes in my office, and my office is smelling. You smell the wood. It's just pure joy.
I'm gonna get it open this weekend. I promise. I've been so tired lately. Honestly, it's hard to explain it, but my energy levels aren't that great. So, but
Well,
I was so happy to back your first project too. That was
thanks. Yeah, thanks a lot, Mark.
Well, Tim was asking if there are any ways to donate beyond the auction, and there is the GoFundMe, which I've also placed in the chat as well. So that way, if you guys would like to go there, if you want to donate there, if not here with the auction, please feel free to do that and help out Mark and his family.
Yeah.
It's all appreciative. So we thank you. It's like, all that all goes towards our medical expenses. I just want to be clear. All of this is for that.
And by the way, what we will do with our next crowdfunding campaign, crowdfunding is, a sword with two blades. On the one hand, crowdfunding is really critical, because some retailers, they don't like if publishers go crowdfunding. But on the other hand, crowdfunding allows companies like ours to really push the button and to start and to create a base. And in the meantime, I do not want to say that we are growing that fast that we do not need crowdfunding anymore. No, of course, we need crowdfunding. It's really very helpful. But the marketing effect of crowdfunding and the number of people that you reach is really very, very impressive for a small company like ours. And what we will do with the next project of this series, there will be, of course, the reward of the coming double feature Katarabra and Wartenbrot that I mentioned. Then you can order also if you missed the ILO game. And then, Mark, if you allow, I did not ask you before, but if you allow, there will be a pledge, a reward to simply donate to you and your family, with a little story behind. I'm just talking to GameFound how to set this up, because there will be no physical reward. So it's just an idea to spread the word, to help a brother, to talk about it. And I know that you are showing what is happening with you and your family daily on Facebook. So there's no secret about all that.
Let's talk about it. But yeah, one thing I've learned is, and I've said it in the chat, is it was difficult at first, but we learned me and my wife, it just accept it as love. And that's, whether people can or can't, but it's so humbling. It really is. And I think I want to say this, and I'm not like tooting my own horn or anything, but just so people know too, it's like we've received a lot of good karma and help from people, and on the side, I quietly been helping others, because I will say this, being public on Facebook, and I don't want to sidetrack the show with this, but I've literally in the last year been contacted there are so many people going through the same battle that aren't public about it.
Right.
And it's just been, I do a lot of it for my own mental health and keeps me positive, but it's been very, how do I say, it's just been, I've been very helpful to a lot of other people, and a lot of other people have been helpful to me, both,
Sure.
encouraging each other. But this is important to me, and I'm not public about that, but there are folks out there that I take some of this and help them out, because
Well, you're able to be their public voice that some people may not feel that they can
Exactly.
speak publicly about it for whatever reason, and you're able to do that for them, so you're their voice.
Absolutely. No, that's well put, Mo. Thank you.
Well, just as a little addendum to what you're saying, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but you have to be careful when it comes to the crowdfunding with adding something in that isn't part of it, because I know with Kickstarter you can't do that. There's a separate company, they were collecting for charity for veterans, and they had to do it outside of their campaign because Kickstarter wouldn't let them. I don't know if GameFound's the same way. They might be. I would anticipate they probably are. So you probably want to look into their terms of service and the like before you add that option. But you can put in a link to an outside option like the GoFundMe or something like that.
Yeah. We are just talking or discussing with GameFound about it. They said something like this. Never asked. Nobody ever asked something like this. So we need to check if this is within our policy, and we will see. I do not have yet an answer, and technically I don't know how, or they don't know it. I don't know. Nobody knows how to set it up actually, but we will try, or if at least we can use this platform for marketing for Mark Ruggiero and family. Yeah. This will be helpful, because we need to spread the word. And for example, within my team, when I talk about the auction that we are doing now, they ask what exactly is happening. Who is Mark Ruggiero? And then there are 5 out of 6 people who don't know you, Mark, who don't know about your difficult situation. So we need to talk. We need to we need to spread the word.
So there was a question here. High Flyer was asking what form of payments are accepted, and it'll be PayPal directly to Mark. This one of the reasons why we did it this way rather than going through like an auction site or something, because everybody wants to take a piece, and this way we're just going through PayPal, and it just goes directly to Mark, and then the game goes directly to you. So there's no, we're not taking anything. Whiskey Charlie's not involved in any of the transactions. That's directly between the winner and Mark. And then, of course, he'll let Uwe know that payment's been received, and then the game will go out. So just so everybody knows how the process is working.
Yes, and we are taking care of the shipment. So wherever you are, the winner of this auction, don't worry. We will take care of the shipping costs and all that stuff. Yeah,
and that's fantastic. Because shipping is not cheap.
Yes, I know. Yeah, and I will pack it personally, so I will take care of it. that everything is well packed, because the wooden box is something really precious. So I will take care of it personally, and I will pack it here in my office. I have every item here in my office. We'll put them together and ship it to the winner of the auction.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, just curious about something you mentioned earlier. You said that retailers don't like crowdfunding. I was curious why that is.
Yeah, that's really strange behavior, because to be honest, in my strategy, in my long-term strategy, retailers play a very important part, and we offer really good terms to retailers. Generally, we ship without shipping costs, so we pay the shipping costs. But I think that many retailers, they are in their, how do you say that, in their comfort zone. They have their products, and if a new publisher shows up, and if this publisher is doing crowdfunding, they think that you take away business from them. And not many of them think long-term, or around three corners, as we say. And it's really difficult to get retailers on the boat. I have some, but I wish I had more. So this is one of my big tasks for the next months, for the next years, to build up a solid base of retailers to work with. And
Yeah, you would think they wouldn't be that resistant to the idea, especially considering some very big companies use crowdfunding regularly. Simon, they crowdfund every game they put out, and plenty of retailers carry their products, so you'd think they would be used to it by now.
Yeah, absolutely. I have been a retailer myself for many years. I had a game store, actually, and then I was working in the fashion business for a while. I had a couple of Timberland franchise stores, and I had a couple of Hugo Boss franchise stores. And I know what it is to be in your comfort zone when you're a retailer. You like your supplier. You like to have one or two suppliers only, because this is easy to manage. And each new supplier is work, is cumbersome work. And I totally understand how retailers work, how they think. And I know that is a hard way to go to build up that network of retailers. I just saw this wonderful question about the tally sticks.
Yeah.
Yes.
No dice, we are British. Kev, what is that? Come on. Come on, Kev. No dice, we are British. Huh? Who?
Yeah, what is that from? Tell me.
Yeah, who knows? Gimpy. No dice, we are British. Mo.
Don't know.
I don't know.
That's a $1,000 question, gentlemen. No dice, we are British was a company. It was a slogan of a company, TFP, Total Fighting Power, a British company. And they did a couple of, it was back in the 80s, and they did a couple of tabletop games without dice, so no dice, we are British. And to execute combat, you needed to add a lot of different factors and modifiers and such. And they offered these tally sticks, where you could draw the stick according to the modifier. And I love that idea. And when we were working on ILO, there is this assault and charge combat table, and there are some modifiers. And when you add up the army initiative points, or the army fatigue points that you need to pay with these army fatigue cubes, there's some calculation to be done. And then I had the idea, to add this gimmick, these tally sticks.
So essentially what it is, it's a slide rule for grognards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you really want to, you're smarter than you are, you can use the tally stick instead of dice. Because I know that was throwing Kev off, because Kev's whole thing is hashtag is roll dice. It's like, what are you going to do? Hashtag tally.
Yeah, you may notice when I played, I kind of just moved it to one side and used my fingers. But we'll get to it in the big game when we play.
So I just wanted to say we got Sexy Hexy here. Jeff is here joining us. And we did have another question up here from Nordic. He says, I have a question for Uwe. I know a lot of game designers have their specialties when it comes to history. Is the Napoleonic Wars your specialty?
Yes and no. My whole gaming career in the war game segment started actually in 1985 with a game from International Team, and it was Waterloo. This started my whole war game career, if you want, and I always had a special feeling for that and a special interest. I think that, oh, Brian, thank you very much. That's nice. And I think that the Napoleonic era and the French Revolution before is a fascinating era, and it's very rich. There's a lot of tragedy. There's a lot of story, a lot of history. It's for me really that part in history that I'm most interested in. So now, if I'm a specialist, I don't know. There are others to judge if I know my thing, but I like the era, yeah, and the huge part of my game collection is indeed the Napoleonics, yeah.
Well, before long, you keep working on these series, your expertise will be in the Napoleonics for sure, because you're going to be taking deep dives and research as you create each of these games. And one thing I want to touch on that you mentioned before was about the white core on the counters, the counter sheets.
Yeah.
And that is something I've always been a fan of white core, and I think you hit the nail on the head as to why. It really does make the colors more vibrant, which make them easier to read. You can read the numbers and you can read the text that's on it, as well as any of the graphics. It really does make them pop a lot more.
Yeah, the colors is one thing, and the other thing is that the quality of the whiteboard is simply superior to gray board. So if you play a lot, they will keep their, how do we say that, their quality.
Yeah.
So there will not be any edges.
They don't fray or anything. Yeah.
Yes. So there are a couple of reasons why we used whiteboard. Yeah.
Mark, did you have anything you wanted to chime in? It looked like you wanted to say something.
No, I was just answering in the chat. I mean, quality-wise, I got to tell you, I will add this, and Kevin's seen it, like quality-wise, component-wise, it's just like top-notch stuff. I mean, it really is. I mean, I got a pre-production copy, and I know that since, Uwe and his team, like, actually upscaled and improved
it's literally ridiculous. I think it is for price for value. Even if you never played the game and just sat there and fumbled the pieces and looked at the maps and all the stuff that's in it, it's beautiful. Really, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Well, I got to say, to spin off what Kev was saying, that you guys in Europe are really setting a new bar. You guys, Luca, everybody are just, those two companies right there are just setting the bar higher for war game publishers everywhere. The standard that everybody has gone on here in the States has been GMT and Compass. Those are the two biggest. And then I would say you guys are just, you just leap right over them. You and Luca just leap right over them when it comes to the quality of the components, and that's fantastic. So thank you for putting in that extra effort and bringing us a higher quality product. I do appreciate that.
You're welcome, because you mentioned WUKA. I am also a gamer and a collector, and I bought their games, and I was so impressed by their quality. And I had their games on my shelf, and I was playing them, and I said to myself, okay, boy, if we do this step into the war game, what can we do to be at least as good as WUKA? And there are some details that maybe Patrick and Julius will also do in the future. So, for example, they also have most of their play aids are mounted. But our play aids are not only mounted, they have folded edges. So it's a a tiny little detail, and we use a little. We use a different paper quality. I do not say a better quality. It's a different type of paper that we use. We have a different touch, a different feel, and still VUCA is really top notch. And then when we started the whole project, we said, okay, we need to think about what is there that we can do to be at least as good, or maybe have a slight edge on little details. And for example, we know that in each wargame you have these dice, and I always say we do not have simple dice. We have customized dice, and even if Kev Sharp is refusing using them and prefers to play with his dice, be it. But
he might. But Gimpy loves custom dice.
Yeah, so this is also something that I said, come on, we need to think about what can be done. And I know that all of us, but most of us, we are collectors. So with the next volume in the series, you will have, again, customized dice with the logo of Quatre Bras and Wartenburg and different colors and such. And we decided to have these dice manufactured by Chessex, which are, in my opinion, the best dice manufacturers in the world. They have a manufacturing site in China and a manufacturing site in Germany again, and these dice have been manufactured in Germany.
Yeah, so you get all that German engineering. You know it's going to be really tight.
Yeah.
Well, you want to go with good dice. I mean, if you're going to pull out a game that's got all these nice components, then you want a nice set of custom dice to go with it, instead of the chintzy little, you know, those board games you'll get, the tiny little black and white dice that look like roll like crap.
The ones that don't roll.
Yeah.
They always roll bad.
Heavy care that you're going to spend the whole time rolling the damn dice, so they need to be good dice. They need to feel good in your hand. They need to be heavy, you know, have a nice feel to them.
Yeah.
Or my own good dice.
It's all part of the experience, right? I can attest to Uwe and, you know, VUCA too, but Uwe, I know, really spent a lot of attention to what he was going to put in his games, and Ilau especially. And he'd be like, Mark, what do you think of this? Great. And then some of the upgrades he did were just, I don't know what to say, but yeah, absolutely right. Like you guys, VUCA, you guys are setting the standard for wargaming, and just to be able to open these games and look at them, it's just, it's like a work of art. It's amazing.
And then, you know, to be honest, Kev, he mentioned something very, very nice in his first video. You said you get some value for the dollar. And if you look at Ilau, if you have a suggested retail price of $89, let's say $90, I think there's nothing to complain about. I think we have a very good value for the money that you spend for Ilau.
Oh, completely.
Yeah, you know, I could not resist, and I bought Winter's Victory from New England Simulations. I love it. I love it. It's let's say, in a way, it's still when you open the rules manual, there are some pages where you have plain text, no illustration, no graphic, no nothing, just text. Okay, that's still 80s or 90s, but it's beautiful. There's no way to deny it. But I paid 180 euros for that, and that's a different level. And
Uwe, I wasn't going to say anything because your game, I received your game first, and then their game, and there are two different approaches to the battle, two different levels of complexity, and two basically different approaches, and they both have their merits. But I found, I looked at Winner's Victory and I went, okay, this is going to be not only an investment that I've paid in money, but it's going to be a massive investment in time to get the game to the table. Just with the fact that we had 6 pages of rules for weather, right? So, you know, and that's not a dig in the game. That's if that's what you want. If you want that level of fidelity, that's awesome, right? But I just felt like it was a little it was quite expensive for what I got out of the box, and I'm still trying to rationalize. And I know that they're a much smaller publisher and they do smaller runs than you do, and all this other stuff. And there's a whole different set of equations going on there. But I really felt like you crushed the quality game at pretty much at any price point, really. I mean, I would have paid $120, $180 for what was in the box at either. I would be not have blinked twice at that. It reminds me very much of Flying Pigs, A Most Fearful Sacrifice, with its big board, 1-inch counters, very rich color, and the rule book is quite good, and they kind of screwed up the charts and stuff. But I think, well, they did, right? The first edition, they're fixing it with the second one. But but they really are making an investment in having a rich. It's like a great computer program, right? Having a rich user interface. It's a fantastic interface to the dice, like Mark was saying earlier about. There's something about picking those dice up and rolling them and moving the counters around that it's just fantastic. So well done. Yeah. Oh, we got a new high bid.
Yeah, you can't beat picking up those dice and throwing them with a tally stick, I will say. Oh, so we got a bidding war going on here now. We got High Flyer at $450. Wow.
Someone did ask a good question though, Mo. How long are you going to give on the time limit? When is that going to be the final cut?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to before. We had the question earlier as far as how long we're going to be going. And we're going to go for an hour and a half is what the plan is. So we've got about 45 minutes to go in the show now. So if you want to add in your bid, that will be, and we'll definitely make sure that we get the last call out there. We're not going to be like, okay, that's the end of the show, so-and-so wins. We'll definitely try to get everybody plenty of time to do it. It's going to be like, if you've been to the bar, you hear last call for alcohol. Well, it's going to be that way here too.
You're going to let the eBay snipers jump in at the last second?
Yeah, there's always going to be somebody that's what Gimpy's waiting for. He's going to come and then he's going to throw down his bid, and he's like, I want the custom dice.
But to come back to Winter's Victory, it's really a beautiful product, and I had to have it. That's for sure. And then I was looking at the direction of the wind is affecting units, I think morale or action rating. So this level of detail, I simply love it, and I read the designer notes, and I would love to have it on the table, and I would love to play it as I used to love play La Bataille. But for me, this time is over. I'm mentally not anymore capable to digest these details and this amount of rules, and when we were creating Sound of Drums, one of our slogans is you decide on history. And when you're playing a game, for me, most fun is taking decisions and actually really playing, being focused on the map, on the action on the map. And I remember the time when I was a student and I was at university, and when we met and when we were together over the weekend, consulting rules and reading and rereading and discussing and trying to find out what is the best way to interpret a rule and such. This was okay when I was at university, and but today when we come together and sit around the table, we want to play and take decisions and talk about the game, talk what happened in the game. We do not want to fight rules. And we try to find a compromise between these crunchy historical chrome that some people love, and I love it too in a way. I love it. I have it on my shelf, but I don't think that I will ever play Winter's Victory, which I regret, because I hope that you do, Kev, and then I will watch your video, and then I'm curious to learn.
Yeah, you could do it vicariously through me, knowing that I will probably play it wrong. And Mark, I know that you are a passionate La Bataille player,
right?
I've in the last few years, I've gotten into playing Labatai. I do enjoy that. You just got to figure out which rule set you're going to use.
Yeah, that's a little bit the issue with Labatai, and I'm very thankful to Labatai too. And if you take a look on ILO, you see that it is inspired by Labatai. We wanted to have the formations, and we wanted to have this cavalry charge, and we wanted to have that. And I remember when I was 16, my third or fourth war game was Labatai Dauerstedt.
Oh my gosh.
And I had not a lot of experience. I started with this Waterloo from International team, and I don't remember what was my second war game. And I remember the third or fourth war game was Labatai Dauerstedt, and I really learned it the hard way. But I loved it, and I played all the Labatai back and forth, and it was a great time. But then 2 or 3 years ago, I set up Labatai de Dresden. I set it up. It's beautiful. It's a very interesting situation. It's a great moment in the era of Napoleonic Wars. And then instead of starting to play, I just said, okay, it's beautiful, but I can't play. It's for me, this is over. I can't anymore. And this was part of the motivation to try to do something else and do something new. And because my dear friend Walter Fejdowski skipped formations in his really nice Eagle series, I think there was a spot. I think there was something to do in the Napoleonic era. So that's why we decided to give it a try.
Yep.
Yeah. By the way, I did meet Walter in Badajoz. In this Bellotacon, and I never met him before, and he's, by the way, a fantastic guy. He's very French, he's very Paris guy, very bourgeois, but extremely nice. We had dinner together, we were talking and discussing a little bit, and he's living downtown Paris in the Quartier Latin. Any one of you know a little bit about Paris, the old town?
I'm curious, if you're saying he's very Paris, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh, ask the French. Ask someone from
He did say he's very much like Paris, but he's a nice guy. So
he's very opinionated, probably, and direct.
I'm sure the food's good though. Right?
The food's ridiculous,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Dude, they eat snails. It can't be that good. Come on.
Oh, come on. We survival school, right? That's yeah.
Look, there's a difference between eating to survive and then eating and calling it gourmet.
Yeah,
fair
we
enough.
snack on crayons. What are you going to say? You can't, you can't pick on other people eating snails.
Come on, if you were really given a choice between a snail and a crayon, you aren't going to pick the crayon.
I don't know. I'd try it. I'd be honest with you. I would try it. I mean, I don't know. I've never had one, so I actually would try it. But
snails don't taste bad. I had to pay my kids $20 each to eat one, but they
they did for $20. So
I mean, I've done raw oysters, right? So I don't know what
right.
It's they're good with tomato beer, right? Did that when I was. It's been a long time, but Savannah, Georgia, I remember. That's where we did that.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds right there, Nordic.
But it's really important, though, what you guys were talking about before, to have a game that has, as Kev was saying, a fidelity of like a Labatai, but without the overhead. Because then you can approach it, it's more approachable, you can get it on the table, and if you can get it on the table easier without 6 pages of weather rules, then you're gonna more likely play it, and the more likely you are to play it, the more likely you are to play others in the series, which is really fantastic.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, and while we have been in Badajoz at this Bellotacon, right, thank you.
No
When I've been in Badajoz, I was demoing the game. And the nice thing was that after 50 minutes of explanation, so I set up the game and I started to explain. after 15 minutes of explanation, folks started to play. And of course, during gameplay, there were questions here and there and such. That's obvious. That's normal. But I think it's really playable. It's really easy to digest and to play.
Yep. And I thought that the rules out of the box from the pre-production copy I saw were eminently playable and very approachable. I like them. My comments back to you were merely clarifications and amplifications and areas where I thought you could actually say more with less and things like that. So I thought that you guys did a great job keeping the Napoleonic theme and the flavor without making it so abstract that it could be Space Marines, right? So you're playing a Napoleonic game. So you've done well.
Yeah, and Kev, you mentioned, guys, pay attention on keep the same wording for the same thing. Right. and then you were right, and you were mentioned this in a video without mentioning us, but I thought, I think he's talking about our rules. Then I was rereading my rules and I said, Dan, yeah, he's right. We call the same thing in 3 different things. For example, the hold and the stand thing was not very clear.
It may or may not have been you. Let's not
blame me.
You're not the only one who's done that.
Trust me, you're not the only one. I read a lot of rule books.
But uniformity like that is important, because otherwise what ends up happening is you introduce confusion to the reader. They're like, wait, what is that? It sounds like it's the other thing, but wait, where's this thing? And they start flipping through the rule book going, what is this other thing that he's talking about? And then they realize, he used a different term for the same thing he mentioned in another rule. That's
which is an easy mistake to make, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, even when we gave out the game to blind testers, after a while they have been so much into it that everything was obvious, and you do not look into these details. And I tried to be relaxed, knowing that there's no perfect rule out there, or a rule is never finished, and there are no perfect games there. And these few grognards out there who will still argue about missing rules or details and such, I know that I have to live with that. I can't wait for the discussions about why did you skip skirmishes? Why did you do that?
Oh yeah. Well, that's a level of complication that would take away from the elegance of the rest of the gameplay. It's a smart choice not to have them, and it's an abstraction, right? I think it's just like with the Napoleonic system from Hexasim. I forget, the Rising Eagles or whatever it's called. They made some choices about facing, right? It's just like it's the brigade or divisional commander's job to know which way to face. It's not your job, which is one of the things that annoys me about La Bataille, right? I mean, I don't want to have to go around and orient every single counter. That's someone below me's job, right?
But we still did it. I said in the designer's notes that you will have different hats on your head. The one of the army commander and the one of the battalion commander, because this is the fun part of a Napoleonic tactical war game, deciding about formations. So that's the designer's freedom. But I know that there will be discussions, and I know there will be discussions about our level of detail that we gave to the cavalry charge rules. We do not have a counter charge, reaction charge, and reaction charge to reaction charge, etc. I know all that, but we wanted to keep it playable. So
don't sweat it. Don't beat yourself up over it. There have been multiple rule books out there that are far worse than anything that you've ever put out. Trust me. We've read some bad rule books. Right? Yours doesn't fall in that category.
No, not at all.
No, one of the, just real quick about rule books, like one of my favorite games to play, and I'm currently doing a 4 players Decisions Ultimate the Ultimate Edition Total Krieg.
Yeah.
But one of the worst rule books ever was when Krieg came out back in 1993. Like, you couldn't touch it. There were rules in the examples of play. It was horrible. So
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, I don't know. Yeah, there's been some really horrible rule books.
Yeah, I think as war gamers, we've really suffered through a lot, and the modern war gamer, I think, really just doesn't appreciate how much better war games are today than they were in the past, just from a organization and structure, and let alone component quality and gameplay and all the rest of it. So you're absolutely right, Mark.
Very true.
Well said.
I just wanted to take a quick jump over to the Sound of Drums website for those who have not been there. If you've not been there, you're doing it wrong. Go over there and check it out. There are several games: History of the Ancient Seas series, you have Patriots and Traders, and Battles of Napoleon, which is what we're talking about here with Bailau, and then Quatre Bras, which is the next in the series. You've got Patriots and Traders, another interesting and beautifully done game here. I mean, look at the components. You get all these awesome things. Just a really, really beautiful game. You get to learn about a whole different aspect of history you may not be familiar with. Again, that's the beauty of war games. Then you have History of the Ancient Seas. This is just another one. It just looks gorgeous. And so definitely go check them out if you've not already done so, and give them our support, because that's what all these companies need. That if you like the games they make, then get out there and support them, and they can keep making more games, which is one of the reasons why I do content creation, because I'm a little greedy there. I want to see more great games come out from these guys.
Right, exactly. So can I nerd out for a second on Quatre Bras with you, Uwe? So one of the biggest challenges I've seen with most games that have, or most systems that have released a Quatre Bras module, is the arrival of the Allied reinforcements. Because of the marching in column and all this sort of stuff, like some of the forces got there, but not all of the force got there. And most times when you play a battle of Quatre Bras, the Allies just have a pretty easy time of it, unless you're a super experienced French player. So I'm not that you need to answer that question right now, but I'm curious how you will handle. I think it's Clark. I think he's one of the generals that arrives. It's either Clark or Picton or someone like that arrives at the right at the lickety split at the right time. So, but he didn't have all these forces, so it was a real touch and go thing. So I'll be curious about how you handle that.
Yeah, you will see. We are testing right now Quatre Bras and playing it, and it was, as Waterloo later, it was a very close thing. And I think you can put it very, very simple in the game. I don't know if we want to go into that detail, or if you play the French in a very aggressive manner, there is, let's say, a good chance that you take the crossroads and that you keep it. And there are many, let's say, questions why Ney hesitated to attack. What was he waiting for? It was not his best day.
No.
Neither 3 days later, but
right.
Yeah. So
I think he had a tough time of it, though, because he didn't take command on the day of the battle, and so he didn't have a staff. He didn't know what he had, and all the rest of it. Super Fabrizio, another European game designer, doing great stuff. But so he was really challenged there. I thought. But
absolutely. Absolutely. He arrived in the morning. He did not know a lot about the situation. He just got the order to attack or to take the crossroads and to join Napoleon and to attack the Prussians in the flank. He did not have the time to do reconnaissance about terrain, and he did not know exactly what forces were available and such. So it was not that easy for him.
All he knew that he was facing the wily Wellington, right? That's all
And because someone was mentioning patriots and traitors in the French Revolution, and games, for me, I rather prefer to play a game to learn about history than read a book. That's for me easier and more fun to learn about history. And when I was contacted by the designer of Patriots and Traders, he said, "I have a game here. It's ready to be published." It was not. It was a lot of work to do, but he said it's ready to be published. It's about the French Revolution. And me, during all the years I'm playing war games, I always did a huge turn around the French Revolution, because for me it was so chaotic, it was so complex. I knew that there was a lot of happening, that there were a lot of action, etc. But I did a huge turnaround. Then, when I was playing with the designer of Patriots and Traders, the game, I, I really enjoyed it, and I started to have a decent interest into that period of French history, and I learned how fascinating this area was, how much happened during that time, and how important that era was for European history. And this was a fascinating lesson for me, and I'm very happy that we publish this game. And that's for me what war games or historical games are all about. Learn about history.
Absolutely. I think that, so I know I had to step away for a minute, but like part of me, the wargaming's always been the history, but the last few years, and then especially with like your game and some of the newer stuff that's coming out, like from Thin Red Line and VUCA, but it's like this, it's just become so rich for me, right? Like I read a book, but then you go play a game on it, and it's more like I literally just have learned to like savor every moment of what we do, whether it's reading a book on, but playing the games is so immersive. And I'm the opposite. Like some people read a book and then get a game. I'm like, I get a game and I'm like, oh, I don't know much about this, so let's go get a couple books on it, you know?
Mhm.
But it's I don't know, I can't really think of a better way to explain, but yeah, it's just exploring that history, right? It's
fabulous.
in immersing yourself in the moment or the period. Yeah, it is. It's wonderful. It's really great.
Yeah, and then you have movies that you can watch too, like Napoleon on Apple Plus TV.
Yeah. I'll only say this in
Bring that up because
defense.
I know some people would do it.
The only thing I'll say in defense of the movie Napoleon, and trust me,
It's called Napoleon.
I think the dress and stuff was accurate. You know, I don't know. Like I was one of those weirdos that I enjoyed it, even with all the weird fantasy stuff. You know, but it should have been more called a love story or something. Huh?
Yeah, wasn't it just like a love story? Like
it should have been more, based on his, you know. And I don't. But there are
more people have said that it should have just been really concentrated more on him and Josephine than actually worrying about Napoleon the Conqueror or that sort of thing, because that's where it kind of threw people off, and that's where he loses a lot of people because he doesn't really follow history, and that's one of the things where it's like, okay, that should have probably been in the back, and it should have just concentrated on him and her. And
I kept waiting for those little what do they call them, the dudes that unfold. They're a car and they transformer. I kept waiting for a transformer to pop out of the pyramid, and and Napoleon was going to shoot it with an 8-pounder and save the world or something. Next thing you know, it's a love story, and I was like, what are we doing?
I was just waiting for the nukes to come up, and then I would have said, okay, special consultant Ty Bomba to the movie.
What's interesting is, really quick, is so movies. So they're Saving Private Ryan, but then Das Boot, right? And I remember, so back, I just want to share this. In 1998, there were 2 years out here in California. There was a show called Celebrate History that unfortunately went bust, but it was amazing. Eric Top was there. He was a top, you butt ace, blah, blah, blah. But there was his radio operator was there. And through a translator, I asked like an idiot, hey, how realistic was Das Boot? And he was like, it was shit. That was his answer. But I think, the guy was there on the sub, you know, but yeah, there's definitely some better movies out there. But I get a little sidetracked, but that was such a great experience. Those 2 years, there were reenactors there. There was just all kinds of stuff happening, and I did a little game demo. That was my part. I was with John Hill and GMT. We did some very small part of it was gaming, but it was pretty amazing.
Well, they made it look like it was going to be a war movie, but then from what I heard, I didn't bother to watch it. I don't understand the obsession with Napoleon. I just know he's a short French guy.
Actually, it's a myth. He was not a short.
It's a myth. He wasn't short. 5'10".
He was not. Yeah. He was not short at all.
5'10", 5'8".
He was like 5'8".
He's 5'2".
I think it was like 5'7" or 5'8", which for that time was actually either average or above average.
He was quite average. Yeah.
British denigration. Propaganda.
Yeah.
Now it's 5'8".
Wellington was trying to, make sure that he didn't get overshadowed for his big giant nose.
You need to read this book. You need to read this book, buddy.
I have it. I'm gonna have to read it. Yeah.
It's a great book. It's a fast read. It's just called Napoleon Alive by Andrew Roberts. He wrote Masters and Commanders. It's a fantastic book. Highly recommend it. Really.
Like Master and Commander, the movie?
Yes, like that, buddy.
I like that movie. I really like that.
But not the movie. The book. It's okay. It's good.
A new bed.
Napoleonics, I just, short French guy, Europe.
Nate, I don't know if this can be helpful at all, but I was like that. I actually had Labatye for years in my collection. Never played it. Never understood any of the attraction to Napoleonics. And then, honestly, for me, it was, I think, Napoleon's Last Battles, which is an old SPIO-ish, Kevin Zucker. But and then I started reading about it. And for me, honestly, the attraction became just the grandeur of it. And it was just a very colorful period of history, and with the French Revolution and honestly, like for me, that's what became the attraction. So, that may or may not help, but I'm just saying it may not be your thing. It's okay.
That's what the shows, I should say, with Kev. He's just like keeps throwing out these damn books, and so I ended up picking up the one about the logistics. Alexander the Great and the logistics of the Macedonian army. So I guess I'm just going to have to go and order Napoleon Alive now.
It's a great book. We got a new high bid.
Oh, we do.
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
It's definitely a battle going on between High Flyer and Brian. So
thank you.
I mean, whatever you know about the Napoleonic era, it was an era where son of a poor lawyer from Corsica, he became, for a couple of years at least, ruler of Europe. And he had some really great ideas. And this was a time where a simple soldier could carry a marshal's baton after a couple of years. So this was a fascinating area, and it was revolutionary in that time. And of course, later on, he lost a little bit, let's say, his mind, and he wanted too much, and he just could not understand that Europe or the other European monarchs would simply not allow him to have Europe under French hegemony. But it was a fascinating area, and all the marshals, or many of the French marshals, they started as simple recruits during the Revolutionary Wars. And later they led corps and they led armies, and it was a it was a fascinating area. So Gimpy, give it a try. There's a lot to explore.
What's the deal with him getting exiled to an island, though? Right? Because he gets exiled at some point.
Twice, yeah. He got exiled twice, yeah.
But why didn't they just chop his head off and be done with it? Why put him on an island? Because then he can come back. He can, rally the forces again. If he's a threat, choppy, call it a day.
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's not America.
Yeah.
They didn't have 9mm guns in those days. I don't know.
And I don't know enough about it, but maybe it's just possible because they knew he still had enough support where it would have caused them more problems to execute him than to exile him. You know, because when he did, I do know this, right? When he did come back from the first exile, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but that and it isn't Napoleon, but I've read about it too, where he did have that scene where he's like, you know, when he came, he's basically like, well, shoot me or join me and let's march to Paris. You know,
right. That's factual.
Yeah. Well, I think if you read Napoleon Alive, you'll find out, right?
Well, you will, but I think Uwe made a great point though. But he was a patron of the arts, patron of science, patron of the legal system. I mean, the European legal system has a lot of fundamental bedrock values that are in essence Napoleonic. And Louisiana, God forbid you go to Louisiana, but if you happen to, I mean, it has a Napoleonic law system there still, I think, to this day. So his reach was and scope of was way beyond just military stuff, and political and social, and he really did a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
very impressive man.
Yeah, I think he did not have a bad intention. What he wanted to do is bring to Europe his idea of justice, his idea of how a society should work, and there were a lot of good ideas. The problem was that he wanted to have all this under French rule. And of course, the other monarchs could not accept this. And the experience that he made during his early campaigns in Italy, where he brought a new administration, not under French rule, but under Italian rule, he thought that he could continue in this spirit for the rest of Europe. But of course, this didn't work.
Yeah, well, in some ways, it was kind of like he wanted to usurp the monarchies in general, because he rose up through all the revolution, right? So, but then became emperor. So,
one of the world.
It's good to be the king, right? So,
but he was defeated by the Russian
Count de Monet,
right?
Yes, sir, he was Gimpy. That's right, Nick. Yeah.
Russian winner kills everyone.
Classic line. It's good to be the king. I love that movie. That was a great
movie. You, sir, look like the piss boy.
Wait for the shake.
Never mind, Gimpy. It's before you.
If you ever get the inclination, you can look it up on YouTube, though, and not the same. But it always makes me think of there's a movie out there called "The Decline of Western Civilization: The Metal Years." Everybody knows I'm a heavy metal nut. In that movie, it's not related at all, but watch it if you're into heavy metal. It's on YouTube.
The movie that we're talking about is History of the World.
Yes.
So if you've not already seen it, you should see it. It's hilarious.
It is. It's great. Yeah.
So I did order the book, Kev. So it's your fault.
Oh, great. Yeah, it's a great read. I'm telling you, it's great.
Definitely. I mean, you said it was really good, so it'll just go into the growing stack of books that I'm working my way through. But it does sound interesting. I need to know more about Napoleon, because I really don't know a lot about Napoleon myself. So, and that is one of the things that is a tribute to Uwe and his game, that it's like, wow, this really has me excited about learning more about Napoleonics, because the game is just looks really fantastic. The rule book is very approachable, and who knows, might turn into a Napoleonics guy much more than I am now, because I'm not. Nappy 20 games I've played, but that's about it. I'm not as fascinated by it as other people are. But who knows? It's start the love affair.
And Mo, ILO is not a bad choice to start, because ILO was a very balanced battle. There was a lot of drama. There was a lot of action, a lot of movement. It was not very static, like battles of Lützen, for example, was a static battle. Waterloo, there was not much maneuver. Waterloo had other very interesting aspects, but it was a very, very good start. Because if you read a little bit about what happened at Eylau, it was very bloody, but it was very dramatic, and there have been a lot of how can we say that, high watermarks during the battle, and it was really very, very interesting. A good battle to start with.
Yep. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Cool. Here we
So
go.
we got a question from Mark. What's your favorite metal band?
Oh, so I was
Just
answering the
everyone
chat. That's a really hard choice. I mean, old school 80s, I love by Sabbath, Dio, and Iron Maiden. Some of the little bit newer stuff, Treyu, Overkill's not really new anymore, but Amon Amarth I think is great. Amon Amarth's great. They got an album out called Berserker, a lot of historical basis songs and stuff in it. That's just to name a couple. But my favorite rock and roll band is AC/DC. Yeah, I like Metallica, but I think that they changed. I like their older stuff better than their newer stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, you can't do speed metal when you're 60 like you could when you were 19.
Right. No, that's true. But like Slayer, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I like some of the stuff I listen to. Like, I can't remember their names. I just cruise around YouTube, and there's so many different genres now. So there's all that, but yeah, I don't know. I've always loved the energy, and then honestly, the crowds were like total geeks. Like, I haven't been to a show in quite a while, but
I went to a show.
It's amazing how geeky we are.
Well, 7-8 years ago, there was a show me and my wife went to. And I wanted to see Volbeat, which they're a Danish band.
Oh yeah, I love.
They're a fusion of. It sounds weird, but it really is fantastic. They're a fusion of metal, country, rockabilly, punk, and I don't want to say death metal, but kind of a little bit of that too. But they're fantastic. Yeah. Opening for them, one of the bands opening for them was Anthrax, and my wife's like, "Aren't we going to go in? Don't you want to see Anthrax?" I'm like, "No, you're not going to really care."
Oh my God, Anthrax!
So, and she's like, "No, let's go in because I know you want to see him." I was like, "Okay." So we went in, and I said to her, "I said, look around you. Isn't this funny?" She's like, "Oh my God, this is definitely not my type of music." And I'm like, "Yeah, but look at it. Everybody around is our age or older, and they're just like banging their heads like this." Because I'm like, "Yeah," because we're afraid of knocking their necks out of alignment or something. Because we're older now. It's fun.
And you said Vault. Is that Volbeat you said, or
Volbeat? Yeah,
I love that. That guy's voice is amazing.
Michael Paulson has a great voice.
Yeah, very unique. Yeah.
So there we go. Metallica, another one from Metallica. Yes, love Metallica.
Yeah. I love Metallica. I do, but I don't know. I like their older stuff better.
We need to get a Napoleonic metal band going.
What's everybody's war game one that's called Sabaton or something?
Sabaton,
I've listened to a little bit of that. Yeah.
So we got those, and then Nordic says I should create a alternate history game where you get tanks in Napoleonic Wars. You have tanks in Napoleonic era. Cavalry. That's what cavalry was.
Cuirassiers, cuirassiers.
That's right.
The tanks of those times. That's where tanks evolved from cavalry. So.
Dracula.
Yeah. By the way, there he was, Jason Sanchez, the author, the designer of Patriots and Traders. I don't know when you joined, Jason. We were just talking about your game, Patriots and Traders, and about the great work that you did, and that you introduced me to French Revolution, and that I'm very grateful for that. Yeah. I asked the team of Sound of Drums, the designers and such, to join for tonight.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we have Gimpy had mentioned that we had about 5 minutes now till we get to the final bid time, where we're going to call for the final bid. And then we'll wrap up the show in about 10 minutes. So just giving everybody a heads up, you have 5 minutes. If you've been considering trying to outbid the two high bidders that have been going back and forth, you got about 5 minutes.
For people that joined late, I don't know if it's worth it, but do you maybe want to just really quick say what the extras are that are included?
Yeah, let's just
I noticed
Yes.
somebody said, hey, offer 2 games, and maybe for people that entered late, it's not just the base game that's being offered. So I don't know, Uwe, if you want to.
Yeah, maybe if
Mo.
Yeah.
Got that picture, Mo?
Yeah. Well, hold on. That's not what I want.
What was that?
This is what I was trying to share. I was trying. Oh, where'd it go now?
That was war game adjacent.
Details there.
Final countdown.
Screen 1. That should be the one. Why is it doing that? I don't know why it's doing that.
Okay.
Share screen?
Maybe I got 2 of them open. That's maybe why. Okay. Let's go with. Nope, it keeps minimizing it. All right, let's just do this. There we go.
That's good. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so dear fellow wargamers, dear Gondians, there is this special item, first volume of Battle of Napoleon, ILO 1807. This set will include the limited collector's box, which will contain the game, the mounted map, the customized dice and cotton bags. And to this item we added 3 more sets of maps, actually print runs. These maps come once mounted and will be a unique item that exists only once worldwide, and 2 non-mounted maps with a red frame instead of the blue frame, and they will miss the setup instructions. So these were print runs, test prints. This set will also include the huge situation map that you see on the wall behind. It is a situation map drawn by a young Austrian artist who is called Sylvia Wipfler. It's a hand-drawn situation map, and the challenge for her was to create a map in the style of état-major of early 19th century. And everything that you see on that map was hand-drawn by her. And I think that she did a beautiful job.
Beautiful.
So this map will also be part of this set, and there will be 10 Sound of Drums counter trays in this set, and finally there will be a second set of our high-quality whiteboard cardboard counters, and one of only 3 existing boxes that are printed on with glossy paper. The final product, the final game, will have a semi-gloss print. So there will be a couple of items in this set that are really unique, and the result of the auction, the highest bid, will go to the family of Mark Ruggiero. And we from Sound of Drums, or me personally, I will pack this set and send it to the winner of the auction. And I really appreciate that you are following, that you are joining the event that Mo was organizing. I'm very grateful, and I'm very happy for Mark that a couple of you guys are watching and following. And thank you from the Sound of Drums teams. From the Sound of Drums team to have joined. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Uwe.
You're welcome, my friend.
Yeah, thank you for your generosity and for supporting a fellow grog that is going through a very challenging time for the whole family is, and we've all been there supporting him, and he's been supporting us as well through the years with war games, and there's the give and take that this community is all about right here.
Yeah.
New high bid.
Very humble. New high bid, high flyer. Wow, thank you so much.
So now High Flyer is just outbid himself. He's just
he bumped it from 550 to 600 on his own bet.
yeah.
He's locking it
He's
in.
locking it in. He's worried about Gimpy and that the sniping.
Loving the
Sniping
fully
there.
on. That's right.
I was tempted to snipe in at 500, but
Gimpy
I
won't
think
make
it would be really poor
let
form.
alone 500. So
Yes, he
Yeah.
can.
don't worry about me sniping.
Yeah, a little
So-
poor form.
Okay.
Let me say one thing about this community. I'm doing war games for many, many years. And what I really love about this community is my wife sometimes asks, what are you doing? What is this pushing cardboard? Why do you read the 50s book about Napoleon such and such? And it's not all about that. It's about, I love the fact that gamers worldwide are connected. They share their passion, they share their love for games and history. And usually these people are passionate, they're humble, they're sophisticated, they're interested, they're extremely nice. And whenever you go to a show, to a convention, for me, this is my personal highlight each year when I go to a show, and I really enjoy to be in Badajoz recently in Spain. It's really that this aspect of brotherhood or folks that share the same passion about pushing cardboards and the meaning of these boxes for us, that we share this. This is this is simply great. And my wife, she can't understand. She can't. She simply
So
can't.
really fun. Just quick 30 seconds where I love this. So one day, I don't know, a lot of years ago now, but I have a good friend of mine, Dave Miller, that I still game with. He comes over one day and we're playing a game. It really doesn't matter which one. And my wife leaves to go spend the day with her friends. She comes back at the end of the day and she looks at the map and she goes, nothing happened. What? And we're like, oh no, we fought this battle and this happened. And like for us, it was like the great. Anyway, it's just kind of funny. Yeah, my wife's really pretty good about it, but I don't understand the
Yeah, my wife's the same way. She comes in and she's like, "Oh, what's this one?" And then like they all look the same. But there are some like this one like, for Ayla. When she saw that, she was like, "Wow, that's actually really pretty." She like the apples, like the counters and all. She was like, "Wow, they really are colorful. This is really nice." She said that about some games. She's come in and they're like, "Oh, that's a nice looking game." Stuff like that.
Yeah, but to be fair, we don't understand why they need 30 different bags or 50 different pairs of shoes.
True.
Multiple black dresses. So they have their thing, we have our thing.
That's right.
That's right.
So what we're going to do here is we are going to end the bidding, and that is going to go.
Thank you, High Flyer.
The High Flyer at $600.
Wow! Congratulations, High Flyer.
Congratulations and thank you to High Flyer for the high bid, $600, which will all go to Mark. And thanks again to Uwe for this generous,
Thank you.
contribution he's giving here.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. Yeah. So, Mo, are you giving me the shipping address of High Flyer?
What we're going to do is what I was going to say is why don't we put up let them email me. Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Email me High Flyer, and the contact information is right on the YouTube channel. You can get my contact info there. Reach out to me. I'll then give you Mark's information where you can send him the money, and then we'll get and also give me your shipping information so I can give it to you, and he can get that game out to you.
Yeah.
And then we want to see pictures.
Yes.
Yes.
And a video.
And I promise Uwe, when I get the Ancients game, I'm gonna post a video or something of me just smelling and enjoying the wood.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Start with smelling. Yeah, you're right. And feel the wood, feel the components.
I'm Italian, so I talk with my hands all the time.
Yeah. Do that. Yeah. Great.
So just one last round here before we go around. Really appreciate everybody for coming in today and joining us and being part of this and contributing to not only the show and getting your comments out there. And I'm sorry I don't have that Irish whiskey for you on the rocks. Nordic, we'll get you next time. We're a little busy running the stuff, all the panels and things, so I couldn't get you your drink in time. But really appreciate all you guys joining in the show today. Obviously, high flyer with the high bid. Thanks again for Uwe for coming on the show, for getting this great game out to us, the Masses Allow 1807. Sound of Drum Games. Make sure you get over there to Sound of Drums Games and check out their games. And of course, thank you for your generosity here in assisting Mark with his current situation.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody and all you guys, Mo putting it together, Nate, watch you, Kev, Uwe, and everybody that watches my channel, Meandering Mike. But just thanks. I don't know. I really don't have much else to add. It's just very humbling.
So good.
It's very
we love you, man.
I love you guys.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep on going, brother.
As long as I can, I'm gonna tell you. That's the plan. All right. You know, I plan that when I do leave, you guys will miss me. So, but you know, I plan on as long as I can. I just keep doing what I'm doing. You guys keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna, as long as I can. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Absolutely. Well, again, everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight. Really appreciate you. We will see you guys on our next show. Have a great night, everyone.
Yeah. Bye-bye.